Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I want to talk about Riftwatchers, and specifically why now is the time to craft a plan to make sure you are ready for this new set that is going to be coming out very, very soon. And let's just take a moment to review what Matt and the team had to say about Riftwatchers on the recent town hall.
We are going to be launching Riftwatchers. Our goal is to get it out also in August, but that may depend on how quickly we get things done. But August or September at the latest, there's going to be Riftwatchers. Our plan is 3 million packs at $5 a pack in SPS only, based on current market prices. So you can do the math there, but we're going to have a significant reduction in supply due to the airdrop ending, plus the entire new mini edition priced only and purchasable only with SPS tokens. We'll also do the same similar things with Chaos Legion, where there'll be a pre-sale with additional benefits where you'll need vouchers, and then you'll also need vouchers for the bonus packs going forward. We're still working on all the exact numbers and details around that, but to me, I see kind of August and maybe into September being like a big turning point for the SPS token.
So, to recap, what did we just hear from Matt there? Well, we heard that essentially in just a few short weeks, potentially, August is just 2 weeks away. So, anywhere between, let's say, 2 to 10 weeks is that August to September timeframe. Rift Watchers could be launched here and entering the game. And we also heard that there's going to be 3 million packs. And at $5 a pack, that's $15 million worth of cards that are going to be available on the market. And what we've seen, to put that into context, is we saw 1 million cards purchased here over the last several months to get Grandmaster Wraith unlocked. And that was only $4 million worth of essentially capital that came in to unlock that. So the chances of Rift Watchers selling out, quickly, not very high, honestly, especially given the bear market that we're in. So it's probably not going to be a huge rush to sell this set out necessarily. But what is worth noting is that those that do participate in a pre-sale and use vouchers to do so, for example, will probably get some good, decent returns depending on how much voucher prices are increasing or decreasing over the coming days and weeks. But there could be some opportunities for sure to open up some packs and sell some cards potentially from the new set, at least in the early day or days coming up here. That being said, the other thing to consider is, again, the Rift Watchers set is only going to be purchasable via SPS, which is a big deal. And what that means is, well, if you have SPS in the game today, you could potentially use that to purchase Riftwatcher packs in the future, or you could certainly bring in new money via fiat, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But before we do that, let's take a step back and see why you as a player or an asset holder or possibly an investor in Splinterlands should be interested in the Riftwatcher set. And let's see what Matt has to say about that.
Will there be summoners in the Riftwatcher set?
Yes, I think the plan is that there will be one epic summoner from each element or splinter, and
What are the
they'll be
plans?
similar, like they'll have abilities like the dice summoners.
So what we heard there from Matt was pretty substantial in the fact that we're going to probably have 6 new epic level summoners released as part of Rift Watchers. And what I have on the screen here is the dice summoners that were introduced in the dice packs. And let's look at these. Now, these are all rare summoners. So we have to take into account that Rift Watchers will have epic summoners, which will probably, in theory, be better than the rare summoners here, and probably worth more than these rare summoners. Let's see. But let's use that as kind of a go forward hypothesis, let's look at the summoners here in Dice. Number one, we have Mylord Crowling, which was and still is very meta here. And Mylord Crowling as a rare summoner is selling for about $19 a BCX. And you can see here that you're going to need 115 copies of Mylord to max that out. So that's a pretty expensive card. Let's see if we have any max levels here. Yeah, so a max level 1 here is almost $1,600 for this summoner. It's quite expensive. Now, probably the next best summoner as part of Dice would have been Lorna Shine here. Lorna Shine is selling for roughly $10 a BCX. And then probably the next two best summoners here would be Ouster and Brighton. And these cards are selling somewhere between $5 roughly per BCX. Brighton might be a little bit higher. Yeah, like $5.50 per BCX. So you can see here that these cards definitely are very useful. Mylord, Lorna, Ouster, Brighton, even Quid, I think is definitely worth using. Vera, maybe not so much, maybe a miss there on Vera. But again, these are new summoners, epic summoners that are going to be released in Riftwatchers that could have some very interesting effects on the meta moving forward. And this is pretty exciting because we get a lot of talk about, legendary summoner abilities. We still have 5 legendary summoners still to be released, plus these 6 new epic Riftwatcher summoners. That's 11 new summoners coming to the game, which is quite exciting on how that could all change the meta and make cards maybe that we don't use so much today definitely usable in the future, and definitely change up some of the compositions that we see in tournaments and ranked battles. But going back to Riftwatchers and having a plan, why is this important? Well, it's important to have a plan right now for Riftwatchers because, well, it's just around the corner. And again, the limiting factor is that you're going to need SPS to purchase these packs. So you might want to check your SPS balance, your liquid balance, and say, hey, if Riftwatchers were to be released on August 1st, would I be ready? Would I be able to get all the packs that I would want to get initially? Would I have the vouchers in hand? Maybe I should look at picking up vouchers now while they're cheap, just to make sure I have some to pick up some packs. Maybe if I'm going to buy a lot of Riftwatcher packs potentially, maybe I need vouchers for bonus packs. And do I have those vouchers in hand? Secondly, again, if you have SPS, is it liquid in your account? Is it on Hive Engine? Is it liquid in your account, or is it staked? And if it's staked, do you have it set to unstake here anytime soon? And if not, you might want to look at unstaking that SPS and putting it on a schedule so that you can have access to it when Riftwatchers is ultimately released. Now, again, remember at $5 a pack for SPS purchasing here for Riftwatchers, well, let's look at SPS. SPS is at 5 cents now. It's actually up over 10% in the last week here. It went from 4.5 cents to 5 cents. So it's on the rise, which is definitely good. But at 5 cents per SPS, you would have to be essentially trading in 100 SPS for one Riftwatchers pack. Now, the question that I think everyone has to ask themselves is, what do they value SPS in the long term at? Knowing that SPS is getting, generally speaking, more difficult to get a hold of with the SPS airdrop ending, with SPS being burned via nodes. Now, ranked SPS rewards will be released, so provide an extra stream for SPS earning. But again, that stream is still going to be substantially less than the SPS airdrop. So if you're an OG or a whale and you're getting a lot of SPS today, don't bank on that coming to you in the same numbers moving forward, and you might be surprised at what your SPS income will be in the future unless you've bought in many nodes, as an example. So keep that in mind. If you value, for example, SPS at, let's say, 50 cents or 20 cents long term, are you willing to trade your SPS in at 5 cents to get these Riftwatcher packs? That's a valid question that you have to ask yourself, or anyone has to ask themselves if they're looking at trading in SPS. So keep that in mind. Now, also remember at 100 SPS per pack at the current price right now, if you wanted to, for example, buy 500 packs of Riftwatchers at 100 SPS each, that's 50,000 SPS you'd be trading in to get those 500 packs of Riftwatchers. That is a significant amount of SPS, especially if you value it at more than 5 cents. So keep that in mind. Now, what does that mean? Well, it might mean that a lot of fiat could be coming in to the ecosystem potentially to buy Riftwatcher packs because people maybe don't want to part with SPS at their current prices right now to get those packs. And a couple things to note here. One is if you are one of those individuals that are looking to bring fiat in to purchase Riftwatcher packs, well, a lot of these onboarding ramps for crypto usually have a 7 to 10 day hold on funds that are coming into the ecosystem. So you might want to keep that in mind for transferring fiat in. Or if you already have coins that you have in a stable coin that you're looking to repurpose into the Riftwatcher purchase, well, then you're probably fine. But again, if you're onboarding new fiat in, you might want to be aware of the time frames to do so. Secondly, if we have a lot of fiat coming in and purchasing SPS to exchange immediately for Riftwatcher packs, well, that's fine. As new money comes in, they don't really have to worry about the exchange rate. But it could also add some pressure on to SPS in the near term, which could increase the price from 5 cents up higher. So what does that mean as a player right now? Well, it means that if you have assets that could be changing their quote value in the near term because of the SPS airdrop ending, you might want to consider trading some of those assets in now for SPS at the 5 cents price because that SPS could be worth more in the future. It's very speculative, obviously. You don't want to necessarily take that kind of decision lightly, but I just throw it out there. Again, not financial advice, but something to consider. For example, if you have land that was getting you for plots, maybe 10,000 SPS airdrop points per plot, well, that's going to end in less than 10 days, and you're no longer going to get any SPS airdrops for that land. And in the same time, land isn't going to be probably available for use, well, at least for several months before we get a reveal and the non-card market released. So you'll be holding onto that land with possibly some appreciation in the market, possibly some depreciation in the market, or you could potentially, if you didn't want to hold land long term, you might consider trading that in for SPS at the lower price and getting some appreciation on potentially the SPS price moving from 5 cents up with the release of Riftwatchers. Again, not financial advice, just things to consider in the broader ecosystem and economy of Splinterlands. Now, land is just one example that I used. You could have other assets in the game that wouldn't be getting SPS airdrops moving forward. It may not be as valuable, and that could be, for example, cards. Cards, you could trade in right now and sell for DEC and convert to SPS as an example, and possibly see some near-term value there because cards, while will be used to gain SPS rewards in the future for rank reward purposes, are not going to give you SPS airdrops in 10 days for their collection power. And also with the introduction of the modern format, the collection power requirements have been cut in half for that particular league. So something to consider there as well. In the grand scheme of things, no one can predict what is going to happen. You just need to as an investor and asset holder in Splinterlands, do your own research and make the right decision for you. Really, the point of this video is to say, hey, this is a big event that's coming kind of at around the same timing as the SPS airdrop ending. You should have a plan on what you're going to do. Don't wait to the last minute to come up with that plan because, well, then it's going to be a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of rush, and you may not get the most value at that point in time. So the TLDR here is understand what is happening in the ecosystem based on your situation, based on your decisions on what you want to do with Riftwatchers, if you want to buy packs, if you want to ignore packs, whatever that happens to be, make sure you have a plan go with it and put it into action if you need to now, or adjust as you see things happening in the market. So that is my takeaway. That is my message to you: is think about what you're going to do, and yeah, let me know in the comments below, what is your strategy? What is your plan? I'd be interested to hear about it. I'm sure other community members would as well. Until next time, keep stacking those stats.
That's entertainment.